The BFG is a new Stephen Spielberg directed film by Disney. It follows a girl named Sophie who is an insomniac at an orphanage, and she gets taken by a giant because she saw him sneaking around London. The movie starts in London, but we're not in London for very long because after she's taken, we go immediately to giant country. And there are these other giants that are like twice the height of the BFG that eat children. But the BFG doesn't do that. His job is actually catching dreams and, like, blowing dreams into people's minds. And that first half of the movie in Giant Country and the relationship between Sophie and the BFG is the best part of the movie. It's very whimsical and it has a lot of fun with the CG. But the second half of the movie, I feel, gets a little too kiddie. I hate calling it that, but that's really what it is. I know it's based on a children's book, but it gets really silly. There are some creative things here and there, but once you get to things like the whiz poppers, it's like, that's... what? And the movie feels sort of long. This is almost 2 hours. There's a point in the movie where it feels like it's wrapping up when you go back to London, but there's actually a lot more after that. And unfortunately, that latter part of the movie I didn't like very much compared to the first part. I'm actually kind of disappointed that we didn't see more of the other giants, because they were actually kind of fun, even though they are supposed to eat children. And the BFG does have very silly dialogue because he doesn't say things the right way, but Sophie as a main character is probably the strongest part of the movie. She's a very good child actress, and I actually believe that she was talking to the giants even though they're not there, it's just a CG thing. I enjoyed the movie enough to say go ahead and see it if nothing else is playing. Unfortunately, it came out in a season where it has a ton of competition, and in between two heavy-hitting family animated films. They really should have waited to put this out in August, because I don't think it's even got its budget back yet. I think part of it is the fault of Disney not advertising it as much, which they didn't really do that for Alice Through the Looking Glass either, though this movie is infinitely better than that movie. I never read the children's book, and I never saw the animated film that was actually more popular in the UK than it was here. But for what it was, I would say it's worth seeing at least once. Just know that it does get pretty silly by the end. Remember, it's based on a children's book. So if you've seen the BFG, tell me what you thought down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, by now we're getting a bit used to winter. We're like soldiers in the middle of a campaign, growing hardened to discomfort and better able to